Hi there. In today's video, I want to talk about why you should throw out all your ideas about competition forever, and also why you should look at people you perceive to be your competitors differently. My name is Aishwarya Rajmohan, and I'm an executive coach and speaker supporting women working in majority male industries with building the confidence to take their careers and businesses to the next level. Now, it's very easy to feel envy or jealousy towards someone you perceive to be a competitor. Perhaps you are threatened by their success, or you might feel insecure in their presence. And this happens for three reasons. You might perceive that they have an unfair or fair advantage over you that you don't have yet. You might feel or sense that they have an edge over you that you might never develop. Perhaps it's a talent, a gift, some quality that they hold. Or it could be that they have access or easy access to an arena that you are trying to enter yourself, but you don't see the path or pathway forward there yet. Now, we are all humans. It's very natural and normal to feel all of these things and to be threatened by people. But it's not doing you any favors, especially from the context of women working in majority male industries. It can be very easy to feel all of these things. When you have less access to power, everything can feel scarce. Opportunities can feel scarce, and there are fewer of them. And it doesn't feel great to see someone else has landed that opportunity before you. Also, just the mathematics of it. If you are trying to progress in your leadership journey, naturally there are fewer roles the higher up you go in a very hierarchical system. So that scarcity can also add to your anxiety about competition. But change your mindset once and for all. As a leader, this is not the way you should be looking at somebody who's a competitor. You have to be able to look at how can you work with this person? How can you get the best out of them? How can you support them in bringing the best of themselves to the table, rather than feeling less than because they hold something, some quality that you don't possess. That's not doing anything for your confidence, to be honest. You need to be able to look at that person and identify where does their zone of genius lie? What can they bring to the table? How can you help bring the best out of them? How do they work? How can you really create that great working relationship together? And how can you leverage this relationship and connection? You have to be able to work with them rather than hold that energy against them. And I say this because I have worked for women-led teams, women who hired me perhaps for my qualifications, for my skills, for what I could bring to the table, but they never let me shine. They were perhaps threatened by what I represented, and the way of dealing with me was to, kind of keep me hidden and never really bring out the best in me. And that's their loss. And the ironic thing is, as a person of color, you might experience this yourself if you identify as one. You have to sometimes, well, quite often work harder to be seen, to be heard, to be accepted. And you have all of these accomplishments behind you, but you might encounter that nobody wants to give you, nobody wants to shine a light on all of those things because they feel insecure. So that kind of thing is very common. You might experience this as a woman in a majority male industry as well. And it doesn't really help your objectives ultimately. If you are leading and you're not letting the person on your team bring the best of themselves, it doesn't help your team either. It doesn't give opportunities for your team members to learn from each other. So let everyone shine. And in that respect, I would like you to make three mindset shifts the next time you encounter someone you feel threatened by or you feel might be a competitor. Firstly, as a woman, you have to look at every woman who has any success as someone who's clearing a pathway for you. for you to have the same opportunity or more or better. We don't have, things paved in gold. We don't have pathways laid paved in gold for us. We are taking step by step forward all of the time. So someone who has it got there before you is just a blessing rather than a disadvantage to you. In business terms, anyone who has a business idea knows that if that you see competition, then that's an indication that there is validity for your business, possibly. There are people who are willing to pay for that service. So think about it in that same way, especially if you run a business yourself or whether you're a freelancer. Same kind of mindset you need to adopt. Secondly, use their status or position or success as information. So, kind of like market research in business terms. Look at them and see, are there any skill gaps in you? Skill, knowledge, experience. Are there any gaps in you that you identify that they are able to point the way for you to develop? Perhaps it's not even a skill or knowledge or something tangible. It's just the way they're being and doing as a leader that you are not there yourself. You're not being that kind of leader, doing that kind of leadership. You're not expressing those qualities or being that kind of person in the world. Use this as valuable information. And finally, this is a really important aspect I would like you to consider. Look at that person and where they have got to and the sacrifices they might have had to make in order to get there. Of course, there are some people who have perhaps a lucky break and then an easier path because of somebody they knew, etc. Yes, all of that is valid. But quite often, they have worked to get there, or they have worked to develop a quality that helped them to get wherever they are now. Are you willing to make the sacrifice to develop those qualities in you? If you're an introvert, are you willing to step out there, grow your network, build relationships? Are you willing to speak openly about your talents and gifts and your contributions to the team so that people see what you are capable of? Especially those who don't work with you day in, day out, and who might be making decisions about your career progression. Are you willing to do all of these things? I say this particularly because I encounter a lot of women in my coaching practice who approach me with intentions of or desires to progress, to get a promotion, but then when it comes to really, are they ready to make the sacrifices? They are not ready to do the work. And quite often I find that there's a fear of being able to balance their work and family life or personal lives. And this is not just women who have young families. It's just also women who are also child free. I encounter this there as well. So are you prepared to make those sacrifices? And, I'm all the time helping clients to be able to create that sustainable career for themselves. So it's possible, but you have to be willing to do things differently and seeking out the help to be able to create that balance for yourself. So check in with yourself. Are you prepared to make the sacrifice that you might see that that person has made? The person you perceive to be a competitor, the person who has got ahead before you. So I hope this video has been helpful to you and it has done a little bit to change your mindset around competitors and competition. I would love to know, what are you taking away from this video? What awareness has it brought to how you might be thinking about competition in your mind? Thank you for watching.